Greetings and welcome to Yes a Stripper podcast. Today's episode, I chat with Cleveland's burlesque queen and activist, Bella Sin. I am your Hopra, GiGi Holliday. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It is I, your Hopra, GiGi Holliday, and I am excited about my guest today. Not only are they in the midst of doing their burlesque makeup right now, if you are watching this on YouTube,
my basement,
in their basement, but we met a few years ago, and I understand why they said it took them a minute to speak to me, because I'm very passionate and very things, but I am glad that they decided to walk the burning coals to talk to me. Because we have not stopped talking since. They are a historian. They are a makeup artist. They are the goth Mexican. They are
I'm just a Mexican.
They are number 24 on the top 50 burlesque list of 2021.
Oh my God.
I am happy and so honored to introduce my sibling, Bella Sin.
Hello. Hola, ¿cómo están? Hello.
Bien, bien, bien. ¿Y tú?
Obviously doing my makeup because I can't act right. And the mess behind me, that's my life, period.
I mean, I love it. I love it.
You know,
welcome. Welcome. Listen.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I think I booked you at the right time, because we are in the midst of this top 50 burlesque list of 2021. And what it is, it's an international list. And out of thousands upon thousands of burlesque entertainers, there's only 50 in the world that really get spotlighted by our peers. And it does take years and time, but we just found out last night that Bella Sin finally made the list and debuted at number 24.
Panics in Spanish.
Panics in Spanish.
I can't even tell you what it was like to. My friend was like, so wait, you just like skipped half the list and went straight to 24. I was just like, huh?
We only breed stars here.
I was just like, what's going on, ma'am?
I think the 24 is fitting because you work 24 hours a day.
I do not sleep. And that this is a very well-known fact. If you call me 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll be like, yo, what's up?
Bella will answer.
Yes, I will. Also, like, don't call me at 9 o'clock in the morning if you call me, like, you know.
Bella will answer. But listen, hold on. Let me fix my camera. I was showing you my dress earlier that I'm working on, because, you know, if you ever heard a Jill of all trades, a Jack of all trades. No, it's a Bella of all trades. Bella does a lot, but I'm going to have Bella tell us their origin story.
Oh my God. I was a wee little like Latin girl in drag back in the day. And then I changed my name to Bella Sin, and then I evolved, and now it's like it's a whole thing. So I was born in Juarez, Chihuahua, Mexico, to my mama and a very large loving family. Immigrated to the United States in the late 1999s, early 2000s. I went to school in the US, Denver, Colorado, which was really confusing, to be honest with you. Like, it was awesome because I was in a diverse status in Mexico because we're indigenous. We had people around us. It was this whole thing, right? But then, like, I shifted schools to a suburbs school, and then it was an old white school, and that was awkward. That was hella awkward. That was a whole different, and this was before I knew about like microaggressions and stuff like that. So it was all that, and then I joined the internet at the library because we were too poor to afford a computer. And I met somebody, and I moved to Ohio because I was pregnant with my daughter. But like I think that gave me will, but I actually started burlesque by lying about my age, taking classes because I was so inner city schools, we know that the libraries are not so super greatly funded, right?
Correct. Correct.
So I went into this little library and they had an entertainment section. So, and by the way, nobody ever gets to film me do my makeup. So you guys are in the real thick of it, in the thick of it.
I love it. The white primer is on right now.
Oh yes, oh yes, we're doing that set. So I went into like I'm a skip class, right? Because I thought I was smart. And where do I go when I skip class? I went to the library. So
As a nerd, I've done the same thing.
yeah. So like I'm sitting there and I'm pretty sure the librarian was like, well, I guess better here than somewhere else, right? And it was an inner city school, you know. So I was going through these, there was a section of entertainment books, and it was all the donated books that are brought in by like the school did something once a year where they got all these books donated to them from like just company people. And there was this the book, The Pictorial History of Burlesque, which I actually have and I'm looking for right now, actually right here.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's out of print in the 1940s. So I don't know if you guys know that I have a great big deal of books.
Oh, no, we're going to talk about
So
you being a historian.
so I opened it to this page and I just like saw this beautiful dancer and I was just like, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. So it was. I found in the phone book, because we used to not use the internet for these things.
Right.
I found some classes by Vivian Vavoom, and I did a class with her. And she's like, that was not real. I was like, I had black hair back then and I looked like a little goth kid. How were you supposed to know? So I took a couple classes from her. And then I used to like, when I say I'm a baby bat, I can't tell you guys enough how much of a weird alt kid I am. Not as much as Seal Vast. She's the goth pinup chilla forever. I love her. She's over in Chicago. Shout out. But I debuted at a goth bar. I put my pasties on with nail glue.
How
Don't
dare
judge
you?
me. Though it was the drag queen. It was the drag queen. Just like if it works for the earrings, it works for the nipples, right? It was a bad idea. But I did Jefferson Airplane's Wet Rabbit. It was a mess. I couldn't get my corset off. So I found a random knife on stage at a golf bar. That's not normal, I guess. And I cut my beautiful taffeta corset that was $400 that I spent so much time like saving for. She fixed it. But like I was just trying to be in a trend, and since then I was hooked. So then when I moved to Ohio, I had my daughter on December 23rd, immediately following March 4th of 2004. The first show for what we used to be called La Femme Mystique Burlesque was in Akron. And then it began. And later in time, we moved over to Cleveland because we needed to out of survival. Like we were really raised around LGBTQ bars because they remembered what we were. Like straight clothes did not know what the hell was happening. So we were like, okay, my first show was my own first production. I didn't know what I was doing. Everybody got paid. There was like 17 people there, maybe. There was two bands. One of the band guys was like doing the show. Like I think it was like Scott Paris was playing. There was another trip around that time called the Rubber City Bombshells and Pussyfoot Girls, which was a very unfortunate name. If you use it on the
very
internet.
unfortunate.
But they were super cute. They were more vaudeville. Another one was like more or less belly dancers, like something that they used to do. Pony Girl, most amazing fire twirler ever. And they used to do the Pensick Wars over in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So we started there, and then just for a couple like years, it was just me. It was lonely, but it was just like it was just not stopping and kept going, kept going. And at that time, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have like, as in like, we had the internet, but it was not accessible. You know, like we had certain things to keep ourselves informed of what to do, but really it was just like going to the library and trying to figure out who, what, where, what was bump and grind. And so I relied a lot about on old books I would find. So, and we kept going, we kept growing, and then we moved to Cleveland and we started performing there everywhere. I joined a lot of nonprofits to just do nonprofit work because I actually like activism. I like community outreach. I like that I enjoy that. That's been built in me from my
That
family.
keeps you going. That keeps
Yeah.
you going.
So, and also
So
my
it,
family has a long history of it.
yeah, it makes sense that that is part of your burlesque foundation.
Yeah. So, and
Um,
also we spend a lot of time in the LGBTQ community, and as an immigrant, like we don't have a choice than to advocate or be quiet. So then the biggest break I got was that I was named in 2010. I received in the end of the year, I received a message from Cleveland Magazine. They're like, oh, hey, we want to name you one of Cleveland's most interesting people, 2011. And I was like, are you joshing me? Is this real? Who are you? Um, and then I met Cindy Barber from the Beachland Ballroom there.
yes.
And we became friends. And she's like, hey, I've seen burlesque shows here. How about you come and do a show there? And our first show was on New Year's Day because I thought it was a good idea. And we had like 5-10 people in the crowd, but it was perfect. And so it started there. And then we went and got picked up in Akron. We had actually
Mhm.
Vagina Jenkins as our headliner, which I love. The first annual Sweetheart Showcase. We sold out, and then we did another show for Valentine's Day in Cleveland. We sold out, and it was just like it was a start. Even though like that start was just like it was awesome, but it was just like there was so many starts and stops and downs and ups and upside downs. And like now we're the longest running theatrical burlesque production company in Ohio. We're the largest burlesque festival in the Midwest with the Ohio Burlesque Festival, which is going on 11 years this year. And then we're essentially the longest running LGBTQ owned, operated, Latinx immigrant owned stage show in Ohio. And I just recently found out about that. Um, and we changed our name a couple of years back to Cleveland Burlesque LLC because it was just fitting to who we are. So, and here somehow we are 2 Chromaticas later, you know.
Your Chromaticas later too.
Gaga, you need a new album.
Yes.
So, because this one's not a vibe. So yeah. So
But
here we are.
like
Here I am.
wow, you really did a lot.
I think it was because I wanted to get my city behind me before I brought anybody in. And that was
Mm.
like such an important part of
And
the dichotomy that we were having here.
that's one of the things that like you, as you know, I have struggled with. I have been struggling to get DC behind me for the longest
Yeah.
time, and it just wasn't happening. And that's okay. It's not going to happen anytime soon. I'm just going to be the Taraji P. Henson of burlesque. Uh,
Hey,
but but
writes that down for the next.
it's a Taraji P. Let me
Oh,
please. But with that being said, like I learned of you and knew of you because of your work in the community and your advocacy. And I, how should I put this? You intrigued me because I was just like, who else is the loud motherfucker in the room calling out shit? Who's this other loud person calling out
I
shit?
can't tell you how many times I got in trouble for that. And I was like, I don't care.
Who you? Like, I really was like, who you?
Like, who are you to me?
Who you? I'm loud, you loud. Are we talking about the same thing? Maybe we should combine forces and be loud together.
I would like those the thing that's always baffling to me is like that idea that you have to be quiet to be complicit to achieve to have success and controlling have things given to you. And I was just like, my mom never in 1 million times that we've spoken back then told me to be quiet about dysfortune and about oppression, but it was never delivered in that social justice conversation. Is like, you have to be a good person and you have to help the people that fall down around you so you can carry communities together.
Correct.
So my aunt and my uncle actually were really big with activism. I liked that I found out that later in life when I was older and I could understand when there was all these things happening in Juarez, that they actually took a school hostage, like a college hostage. And I was like the misunderstanding of that. They were trying to take away the school from the people that was making jobs. It was like a trade school. And they had this group of people that took it hostage so they wouldn't take it from them, the police and local government. So they're standing up against the government. And then there was all this aid to the Zapatista movement and all the stuff that my family would do. And I was just like, come again for Big Fudge. So like, it's never been like, injustice has never been a thing that I like to see, especially since we were so used to it as Mexicans in the United States. And like, I don't think the conversation has been made enough about how unfortunate it is to just see people in very many spaces
Mm-hmm.
in their daily life and what happens. So I didn't want to be that person, because somebody's like, oh my God, you're light skin. If you get rid of that accent and the way you look and you like operate your nose and you like move up your chin and you lose weight and you stop like, and you get your hips to something, you'll look like, and you'll pass to be white. And I was like, but why would I want to do that?
Why do I want to pass?
I was just like, my cousin Lucy has the most beautiful melanated brown skin. And like, that's who I wanted to be growing up. That's who I wanted to speak. But I think subliminally, when I was learning English in Mexico, I think I heard struggle and understood struggle also because of where I learned English, which was Nina Simone. So I
Mm-hmm.
meant like, they wouldn't want those records in America. So they would send them to Mexico. So whenever they came in, because Texas is right across the street from Juarez, so it's just like a thing. So my uncle would bring them home, because we had one TV and a player for records. That's it. That was our entertainment. And running around throwing firecrackers at each other. So random snakes, whatever, like spiders, we'll throw it. Raining
I
horses.
love how the hood is the same in different places.
Right?
Because I'm about to say, like, damn, I definitely was throwing firecrackers. Like,
did you have the game where you like were playing like jump rope, but like then you stretched it and started running after the kids and they had to jump it or whatever and get under it, and it was like whole thing. Like there was times that I'm pretty sure I ate dirt. Make dirt cakes. Yeah, that was my thing.
Yeah, I ate grass. I do remember eating grass.
I think
Don't
that
tell my mama. My mama probably hearing this going, you ate grass?
ma'am. I'm sorry, but
She can't say nothing. She ate paste once.
Here we go. So hi Gigi's mom. But it's like, I think it was
Brenda.
Like Brenda. Gigi's mom. Miss Christmas.
Miss Christmas.
Miss Christmas.
Mama Christmas.
Hello, Miss Christmas. So I think it was embedded in me, and it was also shown so much in my community here, because Cleveland was just the underdog, for the longest time. And then we were seeing the issues that were rising too. And like, also as a young person, I was finding who I was as a person and what were my causes, what were my things, So I think that's how I just translated it to burlesque. And a lot of people are like, you're going to get black-eyed, or blackballed. Nobody's going to hire you. Nobody's going to this, nobody's going to that. And I was like, then why do I want to work for them? So
I also like how you said black-eyed when you meant to say blackballed, because those people that were shitty deserve black eyes.
Like black eyes. Like, if we would speak up to venue owners here, in the LGBT community, we would get beat up.
Yeah.
If we would complain, we would get beat up. Like,
and that makes
yeah,
that's ridiculous. So
we get really hurt here.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, your commitment to activism in the scene, in the burlesque scene, and in your community, in an LGBT community, like, has been inspiring to me. because I really do think my voice got louder once I needed to match your tone and your you know, I needed to match your volume. Like you knew of me because I was loud. But
The first time I saw you, I think we were having an argument online. And I
we
was like,
were,
who that?
yeah. I feel like you and I were just like, who are you?
And I was just like, oh my God, they're beautiful. And that was my, and I, for some reason, I was just like, nobody wants to talk to me. And I'm a nobody from Cleveland, right? So like, honestly, and I have to say, like, I'm honored that people like you and many others that I look up to say that I inspire them, because like, to me, it's been a constant learning, growth, and battling of my own, like, my own things that were put in, like decolonizing, making sure that I have, you know, the proper conversations happen, because I've made mistakes, and all of us have in our journey, because we didn't have a lot of education. We had certain amounts, but it's like I caught people trying to make me complicit. I caught people trying to make me problematic. I caught people trying to be like, oh, you don't have to do that, well, you know. And I was like, man. But like, I think it was like really like through Cleveland Parade and Festival, and I spent 9 years as their large logistics coordinator, and like fundraising and all that stuff, is really where I saw where the voices needed to go. So, and I was like, okay, so this is the people I need to help. It wasn't until like, honestly, like the Trump administration that I shift focus, and I
you
just was
did.
like,
Yeah, you did.
let's go. You know,
I also would like to say Bella Sin has one of my favorite pictures that I should probably get printed and put in my apartment, which is Bella wearing the Mexican flag and putting 2 middle fingers up to the Trump.
oh, that beautiful, lovely dress that a drag queen made me in. That was a good project.
Yeah, so it's a Mexican
Chicago.
It's a Mexican flag dress.
It's like a one piece.
Yes, yes, it's a onesie, yes. But then it's just you putting the middle fingers up to Trump, and I'm just like, I need this.
That was a special field trip to the Trump Tower and during Burlesque Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I was like, I need this. I need this.
When I tell you, I was so stinking afraid of wearing that in the Orleans, and to see how people would react to that, because constantly for my whole life it's been like, you're too Mexican, you're too loud, you're too like, you're too this, you're too that, you shouldn't speak Spanish. And like, I was just nervous because I was just like, so this is gonna go one of two ways. And you know, and I was like, I think my roommate was like, just wear it. And I stepped out. I wish that I would have done knee-high boots, like half high, like
yes,
rhinestone, and like
there are going to be other opportunities for you to wear it again. Trust, you already know I'm doing my African print and indigenous stuff. You know, I'm doing my Afro-Indigenous shit.
Yes, hell yes.
You know,
we're on that.
We're on that. We're on the Afro-Indigenous.
I love occupying spaces with my culture and my indigeneity, because I feel like I'm challenging ideas of what a person can be, because like identities are so complicated. But especially in burlesque, it's almost like for that small time of time when we first met, when we first saw each other, we started seeing this whole like white-centered idealism around burlesque, which I was like, excuse me, you're doing club stripper moves on stage that were developed by Black and brown folks.
I was about to say, you doing black stripper moves, and we see it. That's my thing. I don't think the girls see it. And I know I said this on another podcast, another episode of this, but like, you know, it's interesting that they don't think we see it.
Well, like the specifics were like, and I'm gonna bring this up, like Egypt Black Nile. She was an amazing entertainer, and
they'll try to get her on this goddamn show.
Egypt, come in the show. Like, well, here's the thing. She did a couple of those moves in Beehive stage, and people are like, "Oh, how that's not burlesque. That's not classic. That's not this." A year later, there's the girl dancing to like, "She take my money," and like. And I was just,
oh no, we're gonna say that person's name, because I do want to meet them in person. I do need to let them know.
but like
All I call it messy, honey.
messy,
Messy.
messy. But like, and I was like, and then I started seeing like, not that I haven't like hip hop music was developed very differently. We keep that's a whole nother podcast with itself. But like when I see that, and then I see the praise to white women, and they're like, "That's so risky. That's so dirty. That's so like, ugh." And I was like, wait. And I was like, and also like challenging the idea what old school burlesque is. It was just like when I'm doing a fucking a mambo, a samba, a salsa, like I'm doing those dances, and they're like, or even folklorico, and they're like, that's not old school burlesque. I'm like,
Mind you, we have a whole Latinx like historical thing of burlesque.
oh
And
yes,
you see that they were dancing to the exact same music that you were dancing to.
and that's the thing. Like that's why I started Latin Burlesque Pioneers historical stuff, because like, so the first time I went to VHAF,
Be hot. That listen, I heard it.
it's
Okay,
a B
vapor,
and a V.
vapor rum.
I speak multiple languages, and this economy one language does not serve me. So like
Just like one gender does not serve you, which I think is great. Like
in this economy, a gender,
it's a gender in this economy.
ma'am, no. I'm sorry about your life. So it's like I went to my first BHOF, and then I was so nervous. I was so nervous. And then of course the first people I met were Canadians, and they were like the nicest, and I was like, oh my God. So then I knew that there was burlesque legends that were Latina, but I never met one. Like I knew Kitten, that's it. Marinka.
Maddie.
Baby, ¿cómo estás?
Oh,
Your name is Belasin, right? And then Miss Tony was like, do not mess with my child. That's my child. And I was just like, whoop.
I find it funny that Mama Tony did the same thing to me,
Yeah.
to Marinka. Marinka. Okay.
Jealous.
So what y'all need to know is Burlesque, BHOF is Burlesque Hall of Fame. And I know I've said it before, that is our Oscars, our Emmys, that everything. Like, this is the belle of the ball. But the burlesque legends are there, such as, and I've mentioned before, Tony Elling.
Yes.
Tony Elling, Bella is also one of, as another reason that Bella is my sibling is because we both share the same mama. We share the same legend, Mama Tony.
Yes.
Mama Tony Elling claims us and will not let any other legend
No.
speak to us.
Ever.
We can't. We're just, we know. But Mama Tony will say it publicly. This is mine. This is my child. Back off.
And it's funny because she does her little finger going like this.
Yes, she does the finger. That's why I'm just like, she does the finger, and she did the same thing to me. Remember, I told you Marinka had the dog, saw me walking towards Mama Tony, comes out of the aisle, looks me up and down and says, "You look fuckable."
I love her.
This is me. What? And then Mama goes, "This is mine." And I felt Mama Tony grab me closer. This is mine. This is my child.
It was funny because like when I met like Mama Tony, I met Mama Tony forever, Mama Tony, and then Lottie the Body and Detroit prior to me ever meeting any. I pen pal with a bunch of legends, but I never like they were my firsts, you know. And there's something special about your first legends. But like when I got to BHOF, and Mama understood when I saw all the Latina legends, Suzette Fontaine, we saw Lola Fox, we saw all those Latina legends. I was like sitting there going like freaking I forever will love Gina Bonbon. She embraced me so warmly, and like
Gina Bonbon,
every single one of them. And it was just like they cussed me like it was like a lost child found Jerusalem, and I was like, hello. And it was like truly what I needed at that time, because I was actually gonna quit. My friend Marilu sent me over and helped me afford my trip. And I was actually gonna quit after that. And I was like, we'll go see what it is and then be done.
You can't quit after you see the legends, after you see
your
legends.
Because I wasn't finding my place here. Like everybody kept telling me, it's like, you know, you're too Mexican to do burlesque, you're too big to do burlesque, you're too Latina to be burlesque, you're too loud. And there to a certain point, I was trying to just please everybody else and do what their idea of burlesque was, and never truly what I wanted to do in burlesque was. Even like, even me doing music in Spanish was controversial. And there was always, never doubt, there was always a white woman to cut me down. Shout out to all my haters. Um, keep me relevant. But it was just like, they were using Latino music and I couldn't use it because I was like, hello. But it's just like, as soon as I saw them, it's just like, there has to be more. And then I started looking, and it turned into like this, I shall find, and I found. And then I didn't start sharing those findings till recently, because I started seeing the same thing happen all over again. It's like, hey, this is it. Actually, when the Trump administration started being a thing, which I like how my friends was like, oh, this is just a joke, he's not running. I was like, and they're like, oh, it's just a joke, he's gonna drop out. Oh, it's just, I was like, guys, hello, press the panic button.
As I have said multiple
Call
times,
support.
you put this, and you saw me post on Facebook one time. I said, you let this man in my town, see what happened. He's going to destroy DC. Remember, I kept saying he's going to destroy DC. He's going to destroy, and look what happened.
Exactly. And like, I was so mad and so petrified, like when everybody kept saying, it's like, oh, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. I was like, you just keep saying that because you're not scared and you're not in danger. I know exactly who's gonna be in danger. And like, we kept having those conversations, and then the day he got elected, I just had Joey, baby Sin.
I remember, yes.
And I was crying on live. I was just like legitimately scared for my life. Because I don't know if anybody followed what he said about Latinos, about Mexicanos, about immigrants, and how that, I don't think people understood the hell since then that we had to live in as Latinos, as Mexicanos. And like, not only us, like Black folks everywhere, any marginalized minority, especially like in the late term of the administration, we had Asian folks having to carry that burden. So it's almost like, let's shift the blame. Like, this is the reason, and it's not the first time in history that we hear a president blame Latinos and immigrants for us. Like, it started since like before the repatriation. Open books, they have words. I know they don't have a lot of pictures, people, but open books. So like, that's when I shifted focus and I started doing only songs by composers in Spanish. So I was occupying the stage differently. I think that's when my idea of burlesque changed into what it really, like, I think through me and you have seen in history that 3 years burlesque has changed its narrative. So we've seen, like, when people talk about burlesque being political and mockery of, they don't never include that through the years it's changed and been influenced by other arts. Like, we talk about Aristophanes and how he was the original Greek playwright, and then we go into what Victorian burlesque, commedia dell'arte, and the travesties vaudeville that came out around in Europe. And we don't talk about how those things influence it. We don't even talk about how the minstrel show influenced it, and how minstrel shows still influence comedy, and how those things, that the three set is still.
We would not have this. We would not have Saturday Night Live if it was not for minstrel shows.
Exactly. So like,
I need people to understand that, and that's when people are just like, "You still watch Saturday Night Live? You love Saturday Night Live?" Yeah. Look at the history of variety shows. It's a minstrel show,
and it's kind of like, to me, like, people they always want to be like, oh, it's a mockery of. I was like, if anything, the only thing that has stayed from there was like, if you're supposed to not take it that seriously and it's supposed to be funny, whatever. I was like, ma'am, this is a job. So I know this blush looks scary, guys. Like, just give me a moment. It's called blending.
I am loving.
It's called blending.
Listen, I don't know. I feel, Bella, you're having me take this on a different journey. I love how you're doing your makeup. And
I think it was like, this is makeup is a way of celebration to me. And like, I like how people are like, you don't have to get things ready for a man. I was like, ma'am, I did not spend this much money. My mom loved makeup, so that's, And I wasn't allowed to wear makeup till I was 18, but it still did. It got me in
Same,
trouble.
same.
But like,
I was able to wear makeup for prom, dance competitions, maybe a play. That's it.
yeah.
I didn't put it on
I
until I
just saw it
didn't.
in the camera and I was like, they're gonna be like Bella. And I was
You're
like,
fine.
calm down.
No,
It's
you
called
have to
blending. This is a
wait. What's
blending
it?
brush.
What's
It's a
it?
blending
The
brush.
stippling brush. This is the one I have to make sure.
I was like, right. I was like, uh-huh. It was like,
But so
So,
like,
but yeah, it was just like every time that we talk about how burlesque is political, we talking about the politicality of the background of everything, especially about marginalized bodies on stage. And that's dead ass what still exists on stage today. I specifically still go back to Poison Ivory Step Down forever. That was mind-blowingly beautiful. And I tell you that I stopped talking to a certain amount of people after like, oh, you know what that was about? I was like, shut your trap. I do not care that you're a legend. I do not care that you're an influencer. I don't care who you are, where you come from. I don't care if I get banned from New Orleans. So because it was deep. And then when we see specifically, when we see also like there was this act, it was beautiful. It was she was from what used to be Yugoslavia. She had a these white wings.
was it the
Fabric
projection?
one.
Did she
Yes, she
did
had
she
a
have her
projection in her
thing? And
wings.
I remember, yeah, there was
She was
something going
talking
on in
about
her.
the war.
Yes, and there was
then
something
she
going
like,
on in her country, and I
yeah,
remember watching that,
yeah,
going
yeah.
like,
I talk about
that
that a lot. And then
same.
yeah, and like I was just like, look at, because also the costume was key. She was rising from the ashes. It was gray, it was red, there was like the symbolism behind it.
It was
Just
one of those things
um
where I am not from Yugoslavia. You know,
yeah,
I'm an immigrant in a different way.
yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah.
I'm an immigrant in a different way. And I saw that and I literally was just like, finally, maybe these white people will get that there's issues. And it wasn't. And my heart was just bleeding for her. I was just like, did y'all hear the speech that she said afterwards? I was like, she is worried. And then the same thing is with someone happening in, you know, like same political unrest, civil unrest happening in the United States. And do you know, during the pandemic and while the insurrection was happening, I remember thinking, I could be her. We could have all been
when
her.
the country you're in, when the earth you're under, no, when the earth that's under you starts burning under your feet and yelling at you to go, you have no choice but to run. I believe that's like that's not verbatim what the poem is. Somebody read it in one of the rallies I went to, but like telling you, when I started doing music in Spanish solely as my protest, I was like, you're gonna see me strip, you're gonna hear me strip, you're going to see me fine and unapologetically Latina, Mexicana, Latinx. I was just like, I'm gonna pour this, and that's why Malagueña was so important to me. That was my mom's tribute. So like we talked about it. And I used to do folklore when I was little. And I was like, how do I mix this with this? And I figured it out. It was the first costume that I made in this house, actually.
Oh,
um,
wow.
but it's like when I submitted it to Burlesque Hall of Fame, I never thought it. You never think that you're gonna get in. Then you get in, and you're like, and I.
Isn't that my phone call to you all the time? I'm
Yeah.
in this. What?
Uh,
Yeah, you should be in it. No, I'm shocked. I didn't think I was going to get in it.
Some people like to let us be shocked of news because like I can't tell you how jarring some of this news is. And I was like, let me have my fucking Mexican joy. Let us have our POC joy moments, because we don't have them very often sometimes, because in these fields, sometimes we don't get to, right? But
Right.
anyway, so like I'll go off on that alone.
I think it's great that you occupy space, and you know, my African diaspora sees your sees your African diaspora and Latinx, and it's just like, we get it. And
But
indigenous,
it's
we
important
get
for
it.
us to occupy space, right? Within ethnicity and races and everything. But it's also important for us to understand when that space is not as ours to occupy and ours to move somebody into that space to uplift and move forward. I think that's what a lot of people forget about, especially light skinned Latinas, light skinned folks in general, people that can pass. I don't like using white passing personally, and I know this is like very controversial opinion, but like I'm indigenous Raramuri Mexica, and my reconnection, I mean, my decolonization in my, like, I got scolded for speaking. I got scolded for being, and as soon as I came to this country, I got scolded for the same thing in a different location. But it's just like, the fact is, yes, do like we need to, my grandma put it the best way, and I keep telling people that this is the way she put it. I was the light skin of my family, and I they would joke with me cruelly that I was adopted.
That
And
sounds,
that,
look, is minority. That sounds like a minority family.
yeah.
That sounds like a
So,
minority.
but like I kept seeing my cousins, and like my cousin Salvador, he's Afro-Mexican. Like, and then we have some of my family Afro-Mexican, indigenous, mixed. Um, and they kept joking about that. And I was just like, I didn't feel like enough, because my standards of beauty were brown skin, long black hair, dark black brown eyes. Those were my standards of beauty that I couldn't live up to. And they said,
Whoa.
no, I couldn't live up to those. Remember? Like, there was no, I was just a weird kid. I was weird. I listened to metal. I listened to hard rock. I listened to all this. And then I came to this country. They're like, oh no, you could be these beauty standards, because you might get there, but you have to lose weight and you have to look like this and you have to have long hair. And I never really fit anywhere. So I was like, no man's land for the
Yeah,
longest time.
which is, it's very interesting now because people are trying to look like your beauty standard. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
trying to have the big hips and the big butt and the full
And the
lips
BBLs.
and the BB, the thick hair. Like, you have thick, they want all these things, and it's just like, oh, you kind of biting off
Well,
me
back in the
and my
day, they used to be
friends.
like, "Why are you wearing extensions? Why are you wearing a wig?" Like, oh, only black people do that. Only brown folks do that. And now it's like trending. And I'm over here
Right.
like,
I love how they're saying only brown folks do that. You just like, I am brown. Like, I'm one of
like,
those people.
I'm freaking horchata. I'm café con leche. I'm a freaking mazapan. I get it. I'm Mexican Casper, the unfriendly ghost. But
It's
do not cross my siblings, because I will be the one to deliver you prime style to another side of existence. You will be there and was.
yeah. And
There's
I
you
and
at.
I and one of the things that I also know that you and I now joke about, but you were just like, Gigi, I thought you were Dominican when I saw you. And I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
What made you think I was Dominican? And then I had to think about all the Dominicans I grew up, and I was like, oh shit, we all did look alike. Like,
Also, I think like these conversations also we had about like Afro Latinos and how they feel less, and like they don't feel like they belong to one or another. Either they're not black enough or they're not Latin enough, or and it's something that I, again, to bring her up again, Egypt Black Nile, she's Latina,
yeah,
and she's in the black community and in the Latina community. But like back in the school when you
that
used to get
wasn't,
your ass beat,
yeah.
you had to pick one.
To
Who was
where,
in class?
and it's weird even now when I bring up my indigenous heritage, and I was like, y'all have to understand that historically we were not allowed to say anything for a while, because it was, while African Americans and the blacks were getting it worse, the indigenous community was getting it worse than us. And my family, we couldn't, my mom was like, we don't talk about it that much.
We also
We hide it.
don't hold a space to understand that indigeneity is a global concept. You take
It's
it
a
to
global
another, stolen to another country. But like
yeah.
and also like anti-blackness runs in every community. Like,
Me and you have
unfortunately,
talked about that a
yes.
lot.
And it's unfortunate because people will be like, oh, that's, you're not indigenous, you're not, just the term of concept all the time is like, you're not enough. And I'm over here like, but like, and we can argue on the internet like a million hours a day, but when in the end thing, being a person of color is just complicated. Pass or not pass, but it's just like you choose how to operate in the world. And when my friend was like, my friend was just like, and my husband was like, both of them white, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about, because we know when a white person's not white. Like, we know you ain't white. There's no way we can relate to you being white. And I was like, can you explain and expand on this concept? And they're like, well, your the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you sound, your accent, the way you dress, the way your hair is, the way they just go on explanations. And I was like, show. And they're like, the concept that you would believe that like just it's just offered safety to insurance to when we go back into the circles. I think it's more of the insurance as people of color that we are always abreast and scared in fight mode when we see lighter skinned people because we don't know if friend or foe. Even like like we can't trust our own sometimes because they're trying to go ahead and you know
What's the African American proverb? All skin folk ain't kin folk.
exactly. So like it's one of those like it's one of those things that like I understand when people may feel abrasive, but it's just like but there's I made a conscious decision a long time ago to not water myself down for who I was, where I came from, what I did, because that would be erasing everything that my mom sacrificed for us to be here. So
My chest.
and also every
Oh.
time every white girl tried to bring me down, it was just a constant reminder. They don't want us. They don't need us. And I like how they're like, oh, we only don't like you. It's not that we're being racist. No. You don't like people of color, immigrants, or anybody over the marginalized minority on top of you or on top.
And
period.
like, and I will say immigration became a huge subject when
Yeah.
Trump came into the office.
Oh, yes.
Because I not only saw you advocate for
Oh,
yourself.
again.
Yeah, again. But I also saw that you were advocating for other immigrants that were not Latinx, that were other nationalities, but immigrants. Like,
I think people think that immigrants just a word to use for Latin folks.
And it's
But
not
immigration
like
is global. Like when we were talking about the Black Lives Matters movement, I was like, okay, what are we doing for Black migrants that are stuck in ICE holding? And they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, people from Afro Latinos, we have people from Africa, we have Black people everywhere. I don't know if you know that. And they're like, well, they're not really Black. And I was like,
yes, they are.
and
Do we
this
all
was-
not watch Encanto? Because Encanto
we
had
don't
people
talk
that
about Bruno.
one of the characters looked like me. I was like, damn, bitch.
Well, like it's this ideology that is only an issue across the border. It's only an issue. There's like undocumented people from Canada. There's undocumented people from Ireland. There's undocumented people from Europe, and this is in Asia. And also, by the way, it's called continents. Continents. They make up countries within them. They have people within them.
I thought Africa was a country though, but I thought Africa was a country.
Continent.
Continents. I know.
Continent of Africa.
But like, okay, so
and no, and Wakanda may or may not be there. We're just gonna pretend it does live.
We don't talk about that. We
vibranium.
But like the other thing that your conversation, you speaking up about immigration, I will say for me, even like made me take a little bit more look at it, because I was reaching out to you regarding my students.
Yeah.
Remember? Because y'all, if people haven't been listening, I used to be a preschool and elementary school teacher along with the school admin. So when Trump was coming around talking about ICE and everything and coming to these schools, I had to call Bella and be like, what the fuck do I do?
So in case you guys don't actually know what I do, so we do a couple of things. So I do free translation for immigrants that speak Spanish and indigenous languages, so from Mexico and then from Mexico. And then I also do rapid response services. So when ICE hits communities locally, we provide food, fresh food, money, rent, assistance. We actually work with a multitude of organizations in Ohio to go ahead and get the people reunited with their families. Get also the long of it is we just help bring the people back and have them safe. And we do that on a constant basis. And also it's like we're running our own protection systems in multiple places. We're letting people understand what immigration law is and how it works and stuff like that. Also, a member of the Young Latino Network here in Cleveland, along with El Comité Mexicano, which are two organizations that are Latin based, about along with more consulting, which is focused on helping Latinos, Afro Latinos grow and occupy spaces that are usually more white centered, and talk about heritage and conservation for the Midwest, specifically Northeast Ohio historical Mexican immigrant, Mexican, Latino, Puerto Rican, Cuban history within Northeast Ohio.
Again, Bella is a Bella of all trades,
I just don't sleep, yo.
a they them of all trades. I love it. I love it. I love it. One of the things that I wanted to discuss with you was you being non-binary and doing burlesque, your journey with that. And I appreciate that you post that, you know, like, hey, pronoun check, but I hate that you have to do it almost every 2 weeks.
It's at this point something.
I've calculated it. I was just like, it has to be at least once a month that my sibling is saying, again, my pronouns are.
It's like, man,
They, them.
Being non-binary. So I got sober now almost 3 years ago.
Congratulations.
Which is something that I needed because a lot of people discount mental illness and how alcohol plants to it, and then also that we can't. It's not that I can't handle my alcohol; is that I was just starting to catch myself abuse alcohol, and I had a So my birth father is and was a very violent alcoholic, and thank God that my stepdad stepped in. My stepdad, Manuel, I love him. Hi, Dad. And he's the one that really inspired a lot of my self-healing along with my mom. But like, I found myself after I had my son with postpartum depression. It was so violent, and I was dealing with it with alcohol, so I could just go to sleep and quiet down, you know. And there was one day that I just gave my son to my husband. I said, I have to go because I'm not going to survive the night here. So I left and went to the ER, got pink slip, sent to a facility, and shout out to Highland Heights for taking such good care of me. There they gave me, I also didn't understand at that point the importance of having a brown or black therapist, an immigrant therapist, someone that can relate to what I was saying, didn't dismiss what I was trying to say. So I grew in that extent, and then I was like, you know what, drinking doesn't serve me anymore. So that made me deal with demons that I would shut down, and a lot of them were with gender. So for the longest time, I have never found the word of non-binary as a thing. I was like, oh, I'm gender queer, I'm queer, I know that I'm gay, but I've never had the luxury of coming out. I was actually outed. Because I was so far away from my parents, I could live two lives, right? And block features exist for individual people on social media. There's block lists that I specific. Some people see my statuses, some people don't, because some business ain't your business.
I see all of it.
Yeah, because you're special. Also, and sometimes I call you and I don't put a status on it.
Yeah, I'm about to say, or I get a text message or a call or a picture.
Yeah, right. And I was just like, hello, we need a moment. We need a moment. So it's like this dichotomy and situation that like I was just like trying to talk about as a person discovering gender. And I never have seen myself as a woman or a man, because to me, I used to be a big tomboy. And then my mom's like, you have to wear dresses. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is why. And like, I was like, you will see the pictures back in the day of me just wearing black pants and a fucking t-shirt of a band. And that was it. That was as far. And then like, I don't know, I fell in love with makeup, and I was like, I can use makeup too. So it was like, I kept going back and forth and back and forth. And so I dated whoever I fell in love with. Mm-hmm. And so I already knew that I was part of the LGBTQ community in that manner. But you really couldn't say anything about who you were, because then you started seeing people stop booking you, people stop working with you, especially back in the day when we were trying to occupy faces. So I really like I didn't wander off till a place of safety that was offered to me, which was the Beachland, because they didn't care who you were, they just care you were there. So then a year after getting sober, I woke up and it was like this heaviness I couldn't shake. Like my shoulders, my brain, everything was just like, I'm non-binary. My mistake was posting it online and not talking to my husband about it.
Oh.
But then we did. We're fine. We're good. I had to explain to my family and my parents. When I was outed, my mom was like, well, you married a man, so it goes away. I was like, no. Uh, I'm gonna be like, hello. But it's when I was outed, I remember specifically, it's like, oh, you may be confusing this because English is difficult and you may be just not understanding it in English. And I still talk to that person to this day, by the way.
What?
Waiting for the proper moment. But like I was just like, but it's like it was the funny thing. It was like all these white people trying to be like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. I was like, am I though? And can I just like figure out my own sexuality without you guys and my gender without you guys coming and having something to say? Or just be like, oh, like if that's what's comfort for you, that's great, that works for you. But like this is another thing. Like when you're an immigrant and a person of color, they do not want you figuring out and loving yourself because then you gain power. So, and only white people have the benefit of being queer. Only white people have the benefit, and like I'm not saying this is a benefit because you're not discriminated on because we know how exactly everything goes, but like it's almost cool to just be white and gay. That's expected. So there's some degree, although like I understand that a lot of our siblings are, like have the issues having to do with their families and everything. So I'm not discounting that whatsoever. But everybody has difficult experiences to go through. But being brown and being gay and being black and being gay, being that is not easy. It actually puts us in more danger into a certain extent. Like specifically, somebody once told me, was like, why would you want to put yourself in that kind of peril? And I was like, but it was
You know what category I did not want to put myself in? Being gluten intolerant. I'd rather be gay. I'd rather be queer. But the moment that the doctor said you have issues with gluten, I was like, fuck you. I'm not.
That's the moment that I found out violently that I was allergic to shrimp. And then I knew nobody would ever like me ever again.
I am still shocked at that. I'm still shocked that you're allergic to shrimp.
I'm upset for myself. So
because I was just like, how am I going to make them a crab boil?
First of all, make it for Knox Falls and just let me stare at you guys eating it.
How am I going to make them a crab boil?
I love seeing people eat things that I can't eat because like their joy. Meanwhile, I'm eating like, another really good dish that they probably can't eat. So like it's cool because I can just have tacos.
And you already know how I feel about tacos.
They have a corn tortilla and it might have gluten. So we good.
You know how I still love my tacos. But the other thing of just who you definitely speak out about being non-binary a lot online, and I'm thankful for that, as for anyone that's with their queer journey,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, everything's a journey, right? Everything's a journey. Everything is something that you can learn along the road, and when you learn it, you can teach others by either actively teaching them and educating them or showing them. And you definitely, I'm telling you, there's so much that you have showed. And the fact that you are a non-binary, an immigrant, an amazing makeup artist, and a mama, too. You're a parent.
Know how that happened.
You're a whole parent.
I'm a whole ass parent.
You're a whole parent, okay?
I'm over here like, excuse me.
How is the balance of being a parent and a performer and doing all of wearing all of these hats? Because I know, the audience doesn't know that when I call you, there's 3 people on the phone: me, you, and Joey.
Just like, hello. You friends?
To the point that Bella's kid has called me and left voice.
Product placement.
Oh, we're gonna get into that as well. But I need to know, how do you balance it? Like, how do you explain does the oldest one know, or?
Yes.
Of course the oldest one.
The oldest one came out to me at a Forever 21. So they're
Why does I feel like that's the perfect place to come out at?
Right by
The music's loud, the fits are okay. You're probably, were you standing in line in a long ass line? I
was like, I was concerned. I was like, can you get to the point, because I'm either gonna find out if I'm gonna find somebody to like whoop because of the story that they were trying to say, because they were like taking the long road, and you're like, do I clutch? Do I what's what are you trying to say? And then they finally said it, but it's just like, I was like, and then I was just like, I had the Pride Parade every year. I planned the thing, like, hello. And they're like, and that was the first one that came out too. So like, that made me happy. But like, I think it's like being a partner, being a mom, being a daughter, being like, because I don't think people understand that it was like out of my 18, 19 year career, I had 12 of those years taking care of my mom, taking care of other stuff. So it's like, it's this incomparable idea of having to be in multiple places at the same time. It's like Clark Kent, you go to one place, you go to the other, and then you go to the other, and you go to the other. And the thing that sucks is that nobody ever, you don't take care of yourself.
Right.
You plainly are there to exist, and exist only for all these other people. And then on top of that, you have a career, you have a job, you have responsibilities, you have activism, you have all these things that you're keeping piece of yourself to. And I think the hardest part is like, I had to understand that people don't understand what it takes to make it. There was times that I couldn't go to a birthday party or a family gathering or fly across the country to see my mom because I was working. So people don't want to hold space to that, because they're like, oh, you don't, like, you could do the, like whatever they say on the microphone, because they're stupid. Like, I had to sacrifice, a lot of us have had to sacrifice a ton to just be present with people around us. So when I tell people, I was just like, when I had to figure out how to be present for myself, I didn't know how to. Because I had to be present for my kids, be present for my husband, be present for everybody. And now that like I have, like, it eluded me the thought that I needed the support of my community, which I always had, but I didn't know how to ask, hey, how do I do this? So it was a lot.
Yeah.
So when we came to just balancing, it's having communication with a very understanding partner. Shadows by Pat McGrath. In case anybody.
Oh, that's what my foundation is.
I love
Pat
Pat
McGrath.
But it was just like, it was about all this. It's like a juggling game, and you will never be good at it. But you have to do just the best every day. And like, honestly, like, I know that I'm leaving a legacy to them. I know that I'm bringing food on the table for them. I know that I'm doing stuff for them and having the communication with my partner, which God bless him sometimes, because like, I can't even tell you how many times he's saved the day while I'm like doing 30,000 other things around me. So it was just like, I don't know, it feels like I'm in a constant, I have to be good at everything, but I know that I only have to be good at, like, how would I explain it? Like, I want to be good at everything, but at the same time, I just want to give the love and time and affection to the people that need it. And it just sucks because you take care of yourself in the third person all the time.
Correct.
So, but like, I don't know, I gave myself, as a mom, I don't think I couldn't. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you're a mom, I hate children, blah blah blah. Mind you, if I read that you don't like children, you most likely are not coming to Ohio. Um, because here's the thing, my children sometimes are at the show with me. Because do you know how expensive a sitter is? Um, my my children are more likely in the house that you're staying in. Like, I just wonder, like, I understand and respect those that don't want children whatsoever. I was like, go for you, you'll be a great auntie. But being a mom made me so selfless because I literally am owned by that little kid.
Bingo.
So, but like, managing it sometimes sucks because they don't want you to leave. They don't want you
Yeah.
to leave.
Yeah. The selflessness is, I don't think a lot of people know what that is or feels like in the world, to be honest,
Yeah.
you know, especially in our scene and what we do. The selflessness.
Mhm.
They're the ones who get it because they are also sex workers.
The girls
And
that get it, and the
get it, the
girls that
girls that
don't.
don't. Yes, the girls that get it, and the girls that don't. But you know, when you have to give a piece of yourself, a huge chunk of yourself to someone else, you know, that's the way of the world, and you're just like, well, that's how this pie is cut, and that's how I'm gonna eat it.
Well, but the thing that's more messed up, if anything, is like the people that say like, oh, you're neglecting your child because you're going stripping, blah blah blah. I was like, excuse me, I'm putting food on the table for my kids and paying rent and paying my bills. What is this so different between a 9 to 5? I'm still gonna have to find a sitter. I'm still gonna have to go kill myself at a job that I don't like. Why don't just do something that I do like, I do enjoy, brings me money, and I can go ahead and do good at. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a waitress for the rest of my life. I don't want to work in an office for the rest of my life. I was good doing this. I'm a business owner too. Like, I had to make so many hard decisions in the amount of time. This does not taste good. In the amount of time that I had that I had to sometimes, because you some my coach said, my motivational coach said, you had to mourn what you had to do to survive.
There we go.
That you have to you have to mourn the things you're going to do to survive. Like, I couldn't go to college, so I had to mourn that. I couldn't, because a lot of people was like, you didn't have to go to college, you don't have a degree, you can't be a business owner, you can't be a historian, you can't be this. Like, ma'am, hello, here you go. And I've gotten credentials and expertise and jobs and bookings that have experience, and people are like, oh, do you have a degree? I was like, well, no. It's just like, but you're the more qualified. And I was like, I know.
Doesn't that's a weird thing. You know, we talk about that a lot. I really do need people to understand that Bella and I at least talk almost like once a week.
If we don't,
Sometimes
it's really
multiple,
weird.
sometimes multiple times a week. And if we don't, it's weird, or or we have to send a text of, I'm drinking water, which means I'm okay. I'm taken care of.
Or
If we,
or the text was like, did you drink water
or
today?
did you drink water? Because now I'm worried. That's our code words. I drank water, I ate. Or did you drink water? Did you eat? And we need to know that from each other. But the balance of it all, you know, is just intense and beautiful all at the same time, you know. So you talk about grief.
Yeah.
And I know that you've suffered a major loss recently, and I felt that loss as well, as someone that knows you and
A lot.
how
I
are
think it's
you,
like people's worst nightmares, and those that have very healthy relationships with their parents, actually.
yeah,
So
how are you, how does grief go hand in hand with your burlesque right now, with your life right now? I know that's a very
no,
heavy question, but
it's an important question because
it's
it's
an
like the
important
opposite of
question.
who I am right now. Um, a lot of people were like, why are you surprised that this happened? You know, it's gonna happen. I was like, it still happened. You know, like, you can never be prepared for the loss of your mother. And I don't think some people understand what it is to have a loss this magnanimous in their life. Because some people are like, well, they just died, you know? And like, because everybody deals with that differently, especially like ethnicity wise, race wise, people deal with death very differently. You
Yeah.
know how like a lot of people are so uncomfortable around grief and all that, and like people get uncomfortable and like leave your side because they're like, we can't. And I was like, that's fine. I respect that. I'm just not here for you right now. So when my work fell back, I'm not gonna lie, I owe some people costumes, which I already feel horrible about because I had to literally drop everything during a omega-3 during a Panasonic television to go to my mother who was being put in hospice. Prior to that, almost suddenly I lost my aunt Chila.
Hmm.
I lost Marinka, which I haven't even processed. There's no space in my mind to process it.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't, yeah, you and I haven't had that conversation
no,
either.
I can't, I refuse to process it right now because I legitimately can, and it's coming up here soon. So
Yeah.
it was this thing that I knew that was going to happen, but it didn't seem real because you know what, like people are like, have faith, there will be a miracle, there will be this, there will be that, you can try this other chemotherapy that really helped, or you know, like change diet for this, yada yada, you know. And you think and you think and you like pray and you plead and you beg for something to be different, and you go through and you think it's going to be different and it's not. Then I got called, talked to her doctor. We knew that there was nothing like to do, like the chemo was killing her from the inside out, so I wasn't going to put my mom through that. My mom was trying to put herself through that, and I was like, can you, Brenda?
Right. I love how you be like calling our parents by their first name.
No, her name is Mona. So
I'll be
like,
like, Mona.
but like it was this thing where, you know, I knew that I had to go. There was a very, very deep conversation that was had. And because whenever my family saw me take off and go, they would take off and go. So that was the point. And I like to tell people that don't remember, we were in the middle of a pandemic. Things were just starting to open up a little bit. But my mom was one of those individuals
Hmm.
that could not go outside and you
Like,
can
yep.
get around. So I had to struggle to find a vaccine prior to me leaving. I was able to, because a bunch of my friends were like, hey, there's space here, there's space here, there's space there, right? So I was able to grab one before I left. My husband already had one because he was a frontline worker. But like, then my daughter came with us, my son, and we literally drove cross country in 24 hours.
Yep.
To
I remember that. Yeah.
So, and I emailed a bunch of people. I was like, hey, I have to, you know, I have to stop on your commissions. So there was like a couple of people. Actually, I had decided to stop commissions before that because there's this problematic thing that happens where people feel like they own you because they pay you for a commission, especially white folks. And I was like, I know I'm behind. And also like I was running out of fabric. There was no way that I could find all this stuff that like, and I was just like, well, you know, damn. So that's why I was just like, I can't do this right now. I have to focus on something different and all this other stuff, right?
Right.
But like the getting there, seeing her, spending 2 months with her, I had to shout out to all my friends that picked up for me like shows and events. And like, you know, you still got a cameo there, which was
I
good.
know.
My mom was like, hi Tony.
Yeah, I was about
You
to
know.
say.
And there was a
Like,
lot of people that understood the issue, but like when it came, it was fast.
take your time.
And
Take your time.
just did my makeup, bitch, I can't cry.
I know. I know. Your siblings are
But
with
when it
me.
came, it was fast. And I people helped us pay for her funeral services because I don't people knew how affected everything was. Like I lost a year from trying to see her. The year prior was like chaotic AF because my sister got COVID. She almost freaking died. It was ridiculous. And then she got pregnant and had our little nugget. Like my mom held on to life so she could meet that baby. But like when it came fast and it was confusing. But Luisa, Encanto, the oldest, you have to, you know, I had to take a role in my family, and that was to my dad couldn't do it, my sister couldn't do it. I had to manage the funeral. I had to yell at people, but this is where burlesque really came into it, and I flipped the switch. I had a PDF file of notes, things that I had to ask. I had a whole sheet in docs of things that I put together. I had everything to ask and more, and I wasn't letting the funeral home essentially dupe us whatsoever, which they sure try, Jan. But how do you like me now?
It's one of those things with funerals. I need people to understand that that's still an event as well. It's still event planning. Yeah, when I took my event planning classes, I was taking classes next to people who were opening funeral homes.
Yeah. So and it's also the thing is too, it's a different thing when you're planning your own mother's, funeral. And not only that, you're having this situational awareness of what you have to do, and that you can't let anybody down because that's different, and you can't risk being weak because now you're the oldest. Now that you're the one that has to make decisions. Now you're this, and that, and you're like, and this is the thing that for 12 years I was indoctrinated to, and I had to accept, because you know what, I'm not gonna let down my mom. So there's so much stuff to deal with around death, and of course we were just opening up. We just had our shows coming up, and I was telling my co-producer, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to perform in these, we're gonna produce them, whatever. Then the girl's like, absolutely not, you have to get on stage. My troupe members made my costumes. I don't remember being on stage, but I know there was pictures of it. So it was this thing, right, that I feel like a Spice Girl right now, but like
you look great.
But it was like this thing where I had to take brain after I didn't have time, because I also had to go back to pick up mom's clothes. We had to figure out what was going on in the house and life insurance, and we had to go ahead and talk to the doctors and like to hospice, and we had to go ahead and find her accounts and like stuff with immigration too, that we had to send them letters of her passing, and then like let everybody know that didn't know to know, and dealing with my own grief. And then there is people that will back up from you and don't want to have anything to do with you, and then there will people that will come up to you and have and want to talk to you and want to be there, and then there will be people that will be like Uber food for no reason, which was my favorite, thank you, because I wasn't eating. So like, and then you have to also be a mom, be a business owner, be a person, having the context and stuff like that, and it was a lot. And I would like I still don't understand how I sold out 4 shows through that time, and how I even was able to get on stage, where like my friend said, the only thing that can save you right now and can distract you is this. So this is what our job is. So a lot of friends jumped in, handle social media. There's friends coming over, clean my house, taking care of my son. My husband single-handedly saved Christmas. My partner just did everything, like send me to the funeral, make sure I arrived. I unfortunately missed my mom. I got to say goodbye over the phone, which a lot of people are like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, and it's like almost weird, because some people are like, oh, so sad that you didn't catch her. And I was like, but, and like the little tiny like awkward microaggressions that were part of it were like so weird to me. Because people don't know how to behave around death. Like even not me putting boundaries, those days that I knew I had stuff to do, I couldn't get up. The things I could get, I was remote control, I could get up to feed my kid and take care of my kid because I had to. That's a responsibility I had to do. And I know my mom would be like, but like there's still 3 months to the day. Um, especially when you win, especially when you have celebration, especially like because it was my mom passed October 8th, and then my birthday. And I was just like, Christmas. I'm like, also through Christmas I got COVID. So I was just like, anything else? Then February happened. I'm not claiming that. I'm not claiming that.
I know I should be telling Louisa that you're so strong, but me and you have already talked that I am here when you're ready to break. Please come to New York.
Oh no, like I've already broken. I've broken.
I know, but you know that I know that more is coming. You know, as someone that has dealt with death a lot, more is coming. And I'm just like, and you know, a lot of our conversations was, I'm here for your comic relief. What do you need? I'm here for your
my friend Marieli. I think I called my friend Marieli that day. And I was just like, tell me the truth. How bad is this gonna be? She's like, you're gonna be walking in darkness for some time, and one day it's just gonna be sunshine. You're going to be angry, you're gonna be upset, you're like, it's not gonna come all at once, it's gonna be waves. The next year is gonna be the most difficult year of your life, and as soon as you remember something, you're gonna cry, you're gonna be angry, you're gonna punch the pillow, you're gonna be upset, you're gonna be hyper vigilant about what people say about your mom. And like she lost her husband, and she essentially let me have it. And I am so freaking thankful to her because she really didn't lie to me and didn't make this whole,
we need the manual. Where's the manual on this?
Exactly. And she was a person that was like, hey, this is gonna happen. I know I keep putting makeup on, guys, but like sometimes the face is just not done perfection. But like it's a top 24. But but this, like moments like this, like overjoyous moments, you can't every moment something good happened. I called her and I was like, hey, you know, she would be so proud. Like when I was in American Pickers last year, she was glowing. Everybody knew in her circle that her daughter, that was still her daughter.
Like, okay, so
their child was in it.
Yes. So what people also don't know is
did I get around?
Yes, Bella does get around, but Bella and I also have a very unique spiritual connection. Our family, our ancestors talk to each other. We don't know how. We don't know. But
we're totally having a Kiki 100% of the time without us being aware.
What was it? Bella was calling me for good news. And but I was busy with something. And I was like, just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. And then at the same time, I got a knock on the door from my landlord of a card that Bella had sent me. And it was at the same time. And all of a sudden I just went, Mona, you need me to talk to your child. I called you right after and I was just like,
I truly believe that my mom does go visit people that I love.
Yes.
And everybody that I love.
It's where I was just like, your mama telling me to call you right now.
And it was important.
And it was important. And I picked the phone and I answered and we chatted. And it was just one of those things where I am happy that spiritually we're connected in this unique, amazing spiritual.
It's weird because I was just like, I need to go to New York, or I need to go get Dominican food at Tazones because like something's up with GiGi.
Yeah. And then if something's wrong with me, Bella would just go, hey, something told me to call you. Like, I'm calling you right now. Yeah. But
the situation is what?
Right. So I'm just thankful that you shared grief, you know.
Honestly, like one thing that I'm gonna leave the grief thing on is you can't tell somebody how to act, what to do, how to feel, where to come from, what the background's going to be, because we all deal with grief extremely differently. And to me, it's being high functioning. like to me is waking up, putting a face on, making sure that things are done, like getting lost in work and stuff like that, and getting together with some days. And others I'm just falling apart, because grief is not an angular thing that just like all happens at once. It happens within time. And especially like I saw a lot of projections of people toxic relationship with their parents, and that's, I was like, hey, I get that you didn't have a great mom, but you had a mom still. And I understand that the difficult conversations that you have to have with that mom and all that. But like, hey, I just lost my best friend. I need you to hold space for the fact that I can, and you can, in fact, grieve relationships in this manner, and let me grieve in the manner that I can. Because a lot of people are like policing my grief. A lot of people's like, well, you can't be sad, and the show can't always go on, and this and that. And I was like, my mom made me promise 100,000,000% that I had no choice but to keep going.
Yeah.
And am I going to lay down my mother? No.
No.
And they're like, well, that's really toxic. I was like, you know what? Not a lot of us. And that's another thing. Like, I understand that we have to do self-care. I understand self-care is a privilege. Yes, very much so. And a privilege we get to take, in a decision we get to take for self-healing, self-privilege. But like having a moment by yourself, breathing alone, could mean me going and attacking a tub of salsa with some chips and calling that my breakfast or lunch or dinner, and then going forward and finishing laundry. And like I have house duty still. I have a life outside of burlesque. I have a life inside of burlesque. I have a status. And like honestly, honest to God, like yesterday I was like so happy. It was like almost magnanimous the way that it happened yesterday. I've been feeling down and stuff. So I was like, you know what? I was supposed to go to my friend's exhibit, which I missed, which I'm gonna go to before it closes. But it was just like, it was an unplanned thing, little celebration family had. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, I guess I can't leave, because family. And we ordered Mexican food. So of course I had to walk my my white family through the Mexican food ordering. They did great. We got to the restaurant. Michael said that he got to the restaurant and there was all white girls. And I was like, what? Served no purpose. But we got we got the food. The goods were good. But like it was just like, I think now with grief and everything, I think that my mom is laying moments above me and taking, she sees the blocks that I had that we couldn't see here, and she sees it up there, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna move that. So I feel like she planned this because she knew what was about to happen yesterday.
Mother knows. I will always say that mother knows. A mother always knows. And by a mother always knows, like even the mother connection always knows. Even me, I'm not a parent, but I know when something's amiss.
Yeah.
I do have that mom energy when like something's wrong.
So we also pack crackers.
Right.
You're diabetic. Do you need something, sweetie? Here's some food.
Here's some food. So let's get into celebration. Yesterday, which it was January 7th.
The day of our Lord Jesus Christ.
Wait, what? Okay. Sister, my question to you, are you going to be top 10, top 5, or number motherfucking was? Because you were on this day. They just released the rest of the, no, I don't think they did, but this is the third time that I have spoken about this particular performer in this podcast. Samson texted me, and I guess the next round is out.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Everyone is asking right now, am I going to be top 10, top 5, or number motherfucking was?
This list is such a stress out sometimes because I'm just like, what's happening? I don't understand what's happening. It's such a confusing situation. Oh my God. Yeah.
Is it out?
Here. Yes, it's out. Oh.
Okay. We're gonna hold on. I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, so speaking of just celebrations,
Good times. Duh, duh.
You were celebrated yesterday, January the 7th,
Yeah.
2022, as number 24 on the top 50 burlesque list of 2021. First of all,
What?
I love stories of how people find out. How did you find out?
So I went over to my husband's family's house because we were having a little family get together, and it turned into more like let's order food and memorial thing, like family thing. It was just a family thing. So Ruby Spencer from Chicago, my girl, she never calls me and she needs to. There's only some people that I answer my phone for. Like you all have the same Animal Crossing uh like ringtone, that, and
Yeah.
that's what I answer to. And then people that I don't want to answer to had like that din from Mario,
Yes.
when you went into the castle, whatever. So like I dabble in some video games. So she calls me and she's like, I go and answer because she never calls me, right? So, and then she's like, have you been on the internet as of late? And I was just like, huh? And then my mind is like, who died? Because that's
Yeah.
kind of like the times, right? And then I was like, what happened? Who died? What's going on? What's the situation? Like, is everybody okay? And she's like, no, it's nothing like that. Everybody's okay. Like, have you been on your phone? I was like, no, I'm with family. And then she's like, you have to go look at the list right now. You have to go look at the list. And I was like, oh my God, did you make it? Like, I was just like, did you make it? I was so excited for her. And I was like, did BB, did CO? And I was just like, did this person I don't like make it? Uh, Susie on strip. And I was just like, I go and I couldn't open it because you can't open it from like the link on Holly's profile, like on 21st Century Burlesque profile.
Yes, that's what I'm
You
saying.
have
I
to.
keep having problems trying to get the link, and it happened last year
So
too.
I opened it on Chrome and I'm going down, and I was like, okay, so it's probably one of my friends, right? And she's like really excited. I was like, well, shimmy already made it. I was like, is it Gigi? And I can see Gigi, and like I'm like, keep going. I started jumping, screaming, crying, and my family thought I had seen a mouse. First of all, in my mother-in-law's house would never. A mouse would announce itself before walking into that clean house.
Wait a minute. I like how you said a mouse would never.
A mouse would never. So a mouse would announce itself at the door and ask for like, some sort of some sort of entry. And she would probably give him a treat. Says, call him a name, be really cute. So I started screaming and jumping and crying, and I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like it didn't connect. And I was like, and she was actually in backstage waiting to go on at her show, that she stopped what she was doing. She was already ready. She's literally about to go up, calling me. And I was so happy because it was like the most genuine moment to share with a friend, right? So I was like, let me call you back. I have to call my dad. And they're asking me, what's going on? What's going on? Michael's annoyed. They went to go pick up dinner because it was done and I was supposed to go with them, right? Because
Right.
I collected the order, the whatever. So I'm like, I'm in Burlesque top 50. I'm in Burlesque top 50. So I had to come down for a moment and I called my dad because the first person would be my mom, but I called my dad. And I was like, Dad, I'm in Burlesque top 50. And he's like, I almost didn't answer the phone for you, but your mom told me to. And he was so
Mona
proud.
be telling us.
And then I know my mom is like up here. And then like he's like, I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, this is amazing. Yada yada. And I was like, oh my God. Ah. So I come out and they're like, well, what is it? What is it? And I explained to them as the global top 50 list that is chosen by our peers, fans, and like networks and individuals. Is a really big deal because I've never been on it. And this essentially is something that, you know, I was like, talking to people about it and everything. And I showed them a picture, which I was like, I love that picture of me, particularly from Behalf when I was there in 2017 for Movie Shakers and Innovators. So like that was a nice honey beavers, thank you, with my sombrero. And I was just like, out of nowhere, it was like you and like a bunch of other people were freaking blowing up my phone. And I just couldn't compute what just had happened. They get there with the food and I'm like, I'm hungry. So literally it's almost like my mom planned it. Like, let's go to your family's house so you can spread this joy with them. And have this experience with in happiness and have tacos with your family, because I know that I'm not here, so I'm gonna give you this. And I was just like, this is way too this was way too coincidental, you know,
Again,
too coincidental,
connections.
right? So
Connections. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw it, my brain immediately went, I have to call Bella. And then
a
when I
lot of
called you
people,
and you answered on the first ring and you just went,
bitch.
bitch.
That's how I don't understand that people don't understand like the different tones of bitch. And I think that's
Yeah.
like some people
I
just
knew exactly what you meant.
don't
And I just
understand
went,
that the satin language of different increments of bitch.
yes.
So some people get
When
really
you
offended. They're
said,
like, bitch, why did you call me that? I was like, as in bitch. Hey bitch, how you
hey,
doing?
bitch.
Hey,
No, when you
bitch.
said,
You know,
bitch.
bitch.
And I just went, congratulations.
Rita de Levine called me crying, and I was crying, and I was just like, and a lot of people are like, you deserve this, you've been working so hard for it. It's like, but then like the panic sets in. Because you're
Yeah,
confused,
let's talk about
right?
that panic.
You're confused and you're like, what the fuck happened? Like, what the hell did I do? Like, hello, bibbity bobbity, what the fuck? So like I'm over here like somebody explains that you're baffled, confused, like I like you, then you immediately like panic because you're like how, like I think people have to understand how many boats you have to get into these lists. They're within the hundreds of 2000s, and understanding that people support you that
You're
much,
making
one
my nerves. You're making
panics.
my nerves so bad
You're
right
gonna be in the top
now.
10. You're gonna be in the top 10. It's not we riot. And like it's the thing. Like if the federal government is listening to this, we're not rioting towards you, we're rioting to somebody else. Like hello. But it was this thing that I just like couldn't compute, because like through 18 years in industry for me, this was unattainable. So was Beehive to me. And like, can we talk about Viva?
Viva Las Vegas?
Yeah, can I say the thing?
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things that I think by the time that you release this podcast will be out there. So, which I don't know when you're releasing this, but I don't care at this point. So, like the day prior, well, early in the week, I called you, and I actually applied to Miss Vivas Las Vegas because my mom's like, you know what, why not? So I submitted, and I ended up as alternate. And that to me, this is the same story as VHAF. When I applied to VHAF's Movie Shakers and Innovators, I was an alternate. And within a day, I ended up as part of Movie Shakers and Innovators. So I was just like, so I'm an alternate to a point that I have to pay attention and prepare, because I may be competing in Miss Via Las Vegas, which is
I
huge.
need you to be, if
You
you
know,
stay ready, you ain't gotta what? Get ready.
worry.
No, if you stay
So
ready, you ain't gotta get ready.
so
Ready.
so so I'm on that. So like, and then like a couple days ago, we walked away from a show that we had a regular residency for the last 5 years. It didn't serve me anymore. It like we weren't seeing eye to eye. It was this whole other thing, and I was like, I wasn't really mourning the opportunity because I was ready to go. Like I was like, okay, they see us as numbers, and these numbers that I delivered, even though I delivered multiple sellouts, are not enough for them, because we're getting paid our worth into them. We're probably easier taken as cheaper somewhere else. And quite honestly, I'm going to call it right now, they're probably going to replace us with an all white show. And we were the only POC show there. They got rid of the only show that had people of color in it and was ran by people of color. The rest of the shows are ran by white folks, one of them being my sibling, and I love them, and I'm not going to cost them their space, because some of us have to talk about people needing to work right now. So
well, this is me. It's funny. Now
but
you're
then
24.
but then number 24. But then an opportunity came in a very unique way, where we were offered, and this is huge to me, we were offered the Akron Goodyear Theater, which is a 1,400 seat real theater in Akron, Ohio, which was where we started. And it's almost like full circle, right? Because we are actually booking a large venue for our 20th anniversary in 2024. So this is like a great moment. And they're coming in as partners. They're coming in as people to help us actually build the show. In case anybody's wondering that's watching this tape, I'm putting lotion on my body because
Yeah, like I said, you are getting
um,
ready. You're getting ready.
I'm just so like this situation with that is just like multiple things have accumulated, and I like, and my mind just exploded. Because first of all, like when I first saw the first 30, I was just like, for sure, I'm done. Like I made peace with not being in it. Because it was like, you know what? I know that I'm influential. I know that what I do. And I want to reiterate that for everybody out there. You are influential. If you're booked and busy, you're
Oh,
influential. If
I'm
you're
sorry.
working,
Who said that? But who said that to you?
you. Uh, if anybody is wondering what's happening right now, we're mimicking our eyes against each
We're
other.
rubbing our eyes against each other because
Spotify listeners.
me and Bella definitely do this.
It's
Who
like,
said that? You said that.
every time I see a stare, the drag queen like
Blink.
totally
Blink.
skips over her. And like, so it was just like this confusion. So as the night progressed, of course I sat down to eat and put my phone away. And just tried to be in the moment, right? And then like the immediate like, I can't call my mom. And then I was just like, wait, but she's here and she's listening, and this is probably her doing. So then like I came home and I was like jittery as fuck. I was talking to Ruby Spencer the whole time and like going back and forth with friends and stuff like that, and like sending to my family. I sent it to my family. I was like, we did it because they voted. Like there's a bunch of big people in Mexico and South America and Caribbean. So they were paying attention. Then the people that support me a lot here, I sent it to them and they're like, yes, you know. So like it really warmed my heart that Comité Mexicano shared the picture of it, saying this like it's a pride to have this. And I was just like, that makes me so happy, you know, because
The
they have such
picture
support
of
locally.
the picture of you with the Mexican
That's one of my favorite
like a
images ever.
sombrero. I was just
That was
I'm
my
gonna say
tios. That was my tios from Garibaldi. So it was just like one of
it was definitely a pride
yeah.
moment.
So, but here's the thing. When then you go, what now?
Remember, that was okay. As someone who has been on it for the first time last year, and now we are waiting to see where I'm at this
Yeah.
year. We will find out soon.
Hopefully.
But the question is, what now, Bella?
Honestly,
More tacos.
yes. But like here's the thing. Like last night I had to drink some tea, have some Mexican wedding cookies, and take a bath and calm down my brain. Because then you start thinking about all these things, but then you start like missing the point, because I kept telling people, and I very publicly have said this, it's time for me to be selfish. It's time for me to look inward. I'm not talking about selfish as like my connections with people, my friends, my family, my activism or anything. It's just like I've been taking care of somebody for 12 years and like looking after all this other stuff for 12 years. It's okay for me to just have some time to mourn and some time to space. Like I can't wait to get all these commissions done and all these orders out so I can just focus on me and focus on what I want to do in my own space and my own time. Because like when I tell you that I actually was building a costume that I sent out a couple days ago, I was actually crying on the costume because I was having so many feelings about, like, I was like, I still have to work because of
Is
course
it
we're
your
gonna
costume that you're
no,
building?
somebody else's.
Oh.
And like we live in this capitalist society, and like of course these costumes are a year late, some of them more. And of course I feel like accountability moment. I feel horrible, but like I couldn't control what happened, you know. And how do you become um the person that can go ahead and fix that, you know? It's like it's really difficult. Now of course I send extras and all that, and I'm so sorry, but like a long time ago, before all this happened, because of a white woman taking advantage of me, I stopped wanting to make things for other people, because I'm not somebody's employee, I'm not somebody's property. And the way that I was talked to by these people was heinous. You know, like you see behind me, there's like the people don't see my house, people don't see the state that it was to a certain point. You guys don't understand what depression, like I already have depression, I'm trying to stay sober, and then all these good things are happening as I lost my mother 3 months ago. How do you expect me to feel about success when the person that I shared success with is no longer here with me? And I don't think people understood how trivial my mom was to me. So like how important she was. But like I sat and talked to her because my husband put this beautiful shelf in the living room for her where we kept a little bit of her ashes. We have a picture, gorgeous glamour shot she took, my grandmother's cane and everything up there. And I just like said thank you and talked to her for a little bit. Then I went to the bedroom, and of course my son and my husband are spread out on the bed. So I was like not even bothering. Took my Mexican blanket, my cobija, and went and fell, fell asleep with my daughter's room because she's at grandma's. So, but like I had to calm down my brain because it's the first thing I did when I woke up this morning. I didn't really have a lot of sleep. The first freaking thing that I did this morning is went to ran to check if it was real.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
just like,
I
it's
I
still there.
definitely I kept checking mine. I kept
Yeah.
checking, I kept staring at it. I didn't understand to where when I would call y'all and do other podcasts, y'all would be like number 40. I'd be like, who y'all talking about?
Exactly. So it was just like this sentiment of like, how do you celebrate when you're grieving? How do you celebrate when you're having all these things weigh on you? And like my bosses, my like associations I was with, friends, the most beautiful messages started flooding in, and like you start asking yourself if you're worthy, because like you don't do what you do. I don't do what I do for recognition. I do what I do because it's necessary.
Bingo.
It's not about me. Like I keep talking about legacy work a lot in my work, because if we're not here to pave the way and really open doors and like put stuff forward and yell and screech and make sure that we are heard, we're not doing anything. And anybody does any amount of work, I tell people, especially in activism, I was like, I do not need any attention activism. I'm here because I want to do it, and I have a large platform to do it and raise awareness too. Like with the Norwalk stuff, all that stuff we raised because I was Bellison from Burlesque World. The Burlesque World knew me. Was brought up and got fame through that. I was like a celebrity, a local Cleveland celebrity, whatever. So I use my platform for better. And like there's been times that I used it for some stuff that is questionable, which you know what, sometimes I fuck up because I'm a human, that's period. But like the holding myself accountable is important. Having friends will hold you accountable. I don't know what happened to having a conversation with a person you have a problem with and seeing how if you can solve it privately and then move forward before doing a call out or anything. Now everybody's like, we're gonna, and like I don't know how effective call out culture is anymore, because we still have people that are problematic working, and then of course like you start thinking about the countdown itself and in the back and the history of it, and then you start like deducing things as a person, and you just start. And one of my friends is like, just enjoy it,
Yes.
because also I have a hard amount of trauma in enjoying things that happen in my career because of white women being jealous and trying to tear me down. And this is the thing, like I'm in a different path from everybody. I'm not trying to be better than anybody else. I'm just trying to be better for me. I'm in competition with me. So next year, like if God willing, Dart Lord, Dart Lord here be with us, I can go ahead and get 23, like I'll be happy.
Yeah.
But like it's a fact that I keep reminding people, I have a book written about me
Yeah.
in my work. I have
Rust Belt Burlesque. I one
I
of the
bought
other
the
things
Husky in
I
Arizona.
I know you and I been chatty Cathy's, as Brenda would say. But like you and I also share something in the fact that we are both historians and
Yeah.
we are self-taught historians.
Yeah.
And you have just an impeccable book collection that I cannot wait.
I have a problem.
Yes, but I know it's a good problem to have. And not only are you a historian, you're also an archivist. I'm saying all of these things because I want people to understand why Bellison is number 24. Why Bellison is an influential person. Bellison was on American Pickers.
That's so crazy, isn't it?
It's crazy for burlesque artifacts.
I
So
have a
where
very hefty collection of burlesque memorabilia and books and stuff like that. I just don't tell people about it because people don't want to listen to burlesque history stuff. And those that do, like, they have their attention for 20 minutes and then they're like, well, that's nice.
But no,
Um,
you have my attention and BB Barto's attention for as
and like,
long as you can allow us.
right. But like, to be honest with you, like the whole historian thing, I think like going full circle, like I got published in library's journal talking about history and stuff. I don't just do burlesque history. I do other types of history because I'm a historian in that aspect, because I'm trying to find out where I fit in all of it. And this is why I think
Mm.
it's important for people to understand the recognition comes from, like, I like to think that I'm actually a good dancer and a good costumer, and I do go on stage and I entertain people, and I have my off nights like everybody, but like I like to think that I'm good at something, right? I'm good at taking my clothes off and that's great, but like, I like to say, I was like, I'm definitely not a talker. That's why I'm a stripper. Uh, it's like, but like, it's, we can be intellectuals, people of color, we can be immigrants, we can be, I can be brown, I can be blue, I can be
I could be
violet
violet
too. I
too.
can TikTok has taken over this conversation so many times, but like we can be all these incompetence individual things. And what I love about you is you being in the Library of Congress, and like not more people talking about that. I was just like, did you know Gigi? I'm gonna bring out my mic here, my Blue Yeti. Did you know that GiGi Holiday, Gigi Christmas, is in the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.? And you should all go read that immediately because it's very important. Also, did you know Bibi Bardot? Bibi Bar fucking Do is a librarian and is currently writing a book about Black burlesque performers and jig dancers. And they're very smart. They have degrees from like the Coolage. They have degrees from the Coolage.
It's
And then, and then, I may not have a degree in the Coolage, but God knows I
I
was
don't
great
have a
for
degree.
recognition.
Dee Dee's the only one with the degree.
I
I
think
don't
you
have
had
a
a degree. You had a degree from Coolidge from being a bad bitch, but
degree.
you're still in Library of Congress. You're still in Library of Congress,
But
okay?
okay, but we need to tell people how you called me and went, Gigi, did you know you're the Library of Congress? I said, yes. And then you were just like, how come nobody knows about it? I said, oh no, I said it on Facebook because just nobody listened to me. And then
And then I posted, did you know GiGi Holiday's in Library of Congress?
Library of Congress.
And I
Everybody
put
was
smart strippers.
everybody was like, what? But along with your, the you're also someone that I love how we just like, are you in the Library of Congress? Do you know you in the Library of Congress? Yes.
Oh, yes. How
How
do
do
you
you
know that I'm in the Library?
Library of
I like the
Congress? How do you
internet.
know I'm in the
You know, most of these realizations come at 3 o'clock in the morning when
Yes,
no
so I
one's
don't think
awake
people
and I'm like
understand that we're
looking for things.
talking.
And
Yeah,
that's just how it happens though.
we're texting and talking late at night. But like, not only with the okay, here's my thing with the historian stuff, you really do tie the past to the present and what the future should and will be. You know, I'm glad that you're saying that we're all these multiple faceted things because we
Have
are.
to.
And
We have
and
to
you
acknowledge the
and you
multitude of
embody
identities.
that. You embody all of it to me. Costuming. Also, before I forget,
That's
now I'm
I,
gonna
I do good costumes because I don't want to talk shit and I just go put rhinestones on my costume.
true, but this is
Also,
what
it's really relaxing.
I'm
Oh,
gonna say. I'm gonna grab my mic and say this. Bellison also has their own makeup company.
highlight by, eyeliner by.
Sin Cosmetic, like
House of Sin Cosmetics, yes.
House of Sin Cosmetics.
So,
And literally put that out.
can I
And
have my mic?
yeah, look, have the girls gagging.
Have the girls gagging. I
Gagging.
think that the best so far compliment and review I've received is that my lipsticks are blowjob proof. I don't know how to market that, but I will.
Did you hear that, full service girls and boys, and those who have not yet decided or don't care to choose?
So it's so I should
The-
let people know about my deepest dark secret. I actually used to be an esthetician. So I went to school to become a makeup artist esthetician because that was like my first love. I tried to go to college for fashion design, but that really didn't work because I didn't know that I could go to college and help my mom with a job and stuff like that, because I had 2-3 jobs helping my mom. We were trying to survive in this country. So of course I had to pick. And then I came to Ohio, decided to become an esthetician because I was like, why not? It makes sense. And I always wanted to do it. So I formulated my own makeup formula. So that means that I am science bitch. So one big thing about the things that I was messing around with was lashes. Could never find lashes good enough. Like the 301s were too plasticky for me. I needed something that was like synthetic, but I could wear the different eye shapes and stuff like that. And I'm not a fan of wearing real mink lashes. No hate to anybody who does, but I just wanted something else. And also, because I'm aware of all the labor abuse that happens, because again, immigrant, I know how much people get paid at sweatshops and stuff like that, because I was one of those people. So I wanted to make sure it was like fair labor, fair trade, especially with all the issues with cosmetics, especially with mica. Mica is that little glittery thing that you see in cosmetics. People don't know how somehow that the mica collected in some factories is actually collected by children in India that work in horrible conditions and actually die trying to go ahead and get this little shiny dust from the earth. And that's one of the biggest conversations, because people are like, oh no, I don't want it to have talc because blah blah blah, asbestos. And I was like, well, actually there's two types of extraction, and like you start going down the rabbit hole, right? It's the same people that say E6000 is toxic. In the state of California, there's a particular rule that says that certain items that can cause cancer will be all in the same broad category. That includes E6000. If you have an actual allergy or sensitivity to chemical smells, that will probably be the allergy that you should be paying attention to. I don't know if you're licking the bottle, licking your fingers after bottle, and you don't wash your hands. I understand what you're doing, but and this list also includes, and not limited to, hormones, mattresses, books, daily cleaning supplies, wigs, synthetic paper, which I don't understand what synthetic paper means, but sure, Jan, go off. Anyway, I'll get down from my laps. Anyway, so like,
I love how we're both doing the Bailey Sarian warning. This like get close to the right.
it's like, ma'am, but like when you understand chemical formula, you understand a lot of stuff. And when you look into how these things are made, a lot of people say that like they don't want to support fast fashion. Sometimes we have to, because we don't have, like, as people of color, sometimes we don't have the money. And like, and if we know how to sew, sometimes the goods are more expensive than buying them somewhere. Or if you're a plus size person, sometimes you can't find something. But it's just like in the cosmetic industry, you have the ability of supporting somebody that actually has a link where you don't have to support work like this towards children. So it's one of the biggest things that was into my brand. Now, also, I wanted to make things for people with encumbrances and also disabilities. They couldn't hold things. A lot of our stuff is square because usually you can't hold something correctly. How will people would think it's correctly? Because you have a disability. So these don't roll off your tables. And like it's the plainest tube of like lipstick and cheap that I could get that's in recycled material, but like it doesn't roll off your table. You can stand it, you can hold it, you can go ahead and put it against putty, you can use it. And even the doe foot itself was another thing. Like you have to have a different amount of ability to hold enough product in a doe foot that you can put that's normal enough for everybody and friendly for everybody to use. Also hyperallergenic makeup, which a lot of people don't think about, that I have. My mom, she couldn't wear a lot of makeup, which she was a makeup lover, because some makeup actually caused a reaction with her skin with her chemo. And some of them that was lipsticks or lashes, lash glue. So if anything, if you're going to be complaining about E6000 and you're using a adhesive that has formaldehyde in it, I don't want to hear it, because some adhesives, adhesives have formaldehyde in it. And that's the same thing they use to embody bodies. So like, that's why it doesn't equate to me. Some people were like, oh, I don't use E6000 because I don't like chemicals. I was like, what lash glue are you using?
Yeah, because I know you were helping me with makeup one time, and I was just like, Bella, I have to be careful. They put peanuts. Sometimes it has peanut stuff, and I have a nut allergy, so I can't buy foundations over the counter or something. I literally have to go to Ulta or another place, and that's when I discovered Pat McGrath. someone had to research Pat McGrath makeup for me. So now I can put it on my skin.
And a lot of people don't read the things, like the eyeliner, we purposely made it so it had ridges. I just
Love
want to
it.
glitter on it, so I put it on it. But like this is hyperallergenic and it doesn't have formaldehyde as a part of the eyeliner, and it's long lasting. It's 18-hour wear. And it's in like a felt tube that will be easy for everybody to freaking use on it. But like it's also matte because I like matte. But like also the makeup wise, also, I'm not making makeup for white women. I'm making makeup for people of color, because there's different colors for different skin tones. Like I still remember that influencer online that talked about the Hermes lipstick orange. I was like, well, what is this orange lipstick? Well, I would never. That was not made for you.
Yeah, that wasn't made for you.
Some people don't understand color theory and undercolor
Yeah.
tones. Reds come in different places. Also, like not everything's gonna look there's not a lot of things that are independent products. But yeah, that's like I started as a joke with the eyelashes, which I'm wearing high sustain eyelashes right now. Envy.
I love. I'm waiting for my package. Bellison was just like, I need to send you lashes if you're
Yeah,
about
these
to
are
do
ego.
a photo shoot.
So like
he was like, if you're about to do this photo shoot,
I got you.
It's a big time place
I
too.
don't remember what I sent you, but you're gonna have to remind me.
When it comes here.
But like this is the situation. Like a lot of people don't understand why I started a makeup company. They're like, oh, is this Alibaba, this like, you know, like this drop ship, whatever. I was like, no, I actually made my own formula. And like I had to stop Showgirl from producing twice because one, they wanted to use, so red sometimes stung by a beetle component, and it can stain and it could be an allergen. So I was like, don't do that. We found another company. Then the other one was when they're like, oh, we couldn't confirm that the mica didn't come from. And I was like, well, give me the company details and I'll go ahead and do a feedback on it. So I did, and it turns out that it did. So I was like, no, I don't want that produced with that mica. So like I literally, they're like, well, we already made it. Well, too bad, sell those because I don't want them.
Yeah.
We need to produce them with a correct amount of mica. And they did, but it's just like the constant delays that came from it were not just from COVID. It's because I didn't want to be complicit with my makeup company. And some people are like, some white girl was like, I'm convinced the products don't exist. I'm like, I actually been shipping products since, like, it's not my fault that you're apparently not knowing of how this process.
If you want to talk about a scam, let's talk about Royal Velvet Burlesque. Stay out of here. I bet you that person probably performed for them too.
Right?
Out
No,
of
she's
here.
not a burlesque performer. She's just whatever. But like the thing is, like the releasing a makeup line for entertainers, specifically women of color, people of color that are fans of makeup. I shouldn't also say always women, but like I've always seen makeup as an artist myself to be a tool of iconography that was genderless.
Yes.
And there was never a reason why a man couldn't wear it, a woman couldn't wear it, a femme couldn't wear it, like a non-binary person couldn't wear it. And people are like, you present so femme and you're non-binary. I was like, it's not, I like, if you know who John McClane is, he's the man on YouTube that speaks in cursive. But like gender is not a thing to us sometimes. And it's just like, I like makeup just because I like to put it on. I like some people are like, oh, you put on that makeup for your husband or whatever. And I was like, if you think that I'm wearing an $85 lipstick for my husband, ma'am, you're extremely, and yes, there's an $85 lipstick. I'm sorry about owning one. It's Louboutin, but a person will like to enjoy their small luxuries, and that's mine. Sue me.
Thank you. Small luxuries. That's
like,
that's a beautiful
like,
luxury.
You can buy Black luxury products, Latino luxury products, and there shouldn't be any reason why not to. But like, whatever, still fuck Coco Chanel. But like, it's like, I think people don't understand with cosmetics. My passion is to bring it to people that don't have it, that enjoy it. I know the market's flooded and there's there's multiple things. I'm trying to provide an alternative brand that is unproblematic. Like, and this will be actually like very controversial, but to be honest, that's the only person that really took a deep dive into how to make cosmetics, and is Jay Star. Don't like him. Don't.
Stand him.
There is one part of his documentary about making that conspiracy palette that was actually talking about production and about formula. And that's the thing.
I'll watch that part because
no,
I
don't
want to
watch it.
understand.
I'll tell you about it. Don't watch it. I'll tell you about it. But it was just like, it's important to see that like research has been done, that makeup takes time. We can be putting out like, and I'm not calling it ColourPop out by Soever because I do buy from them quite often and I do enjoy ColourPop as a brand. But like 30,000 palettes in the same different colors, like come on, like how much, if your palettes are $13, how much are you paying your employees?
Right. And like even okay, so you know I love Fenty. I love Fenty. You were the one that told me to go get the
No,
Fenty
no.
red. You was like, get that red lipstick. It's going to be busting on you. And then I also got the black one, and the black one was busting on me too. Like, yeah. When you were the one that was just like, I need you to go get this red. This red is actually going to be lit on you. But you and Rihanna, I feel like, yeah, y'all know what I need. And Pat McGrath, I feel like y'all know what I need.
Oh, Pat McGrath shadows are the best.
And my best friend. And my best friend.
A lot of these are gifts for my friends, and these are the Louis Vuitton. This is the gloss. This is the gloss. This is the lipstick, and this is the, well, like this is a gloss lipstick, and this is a lipstick. Michael thinks that they look like.
So they are, so for our listeners, they are showing off these beautiful ass bottles. They look like, if anyone has ever seen the movie Death Becomes Her?
Yes.
Where the formula is for the extension to live long, the tube looks exactly
but
like
my husband for some reason thinks they look like butt plugs. I was like, that's rude.
butt plugs. They also look like pointy decorative butt plugs.
But sometimes it's okay to have some luxury. Look at something. It's okay to have some luxurious things sometimes.
All right,
it's not Gigi.
We are running out of time, and I know we've been over, but not only that, my laptop is at 19%. But I just have that's the problem with us. It always happens. Someone's phone is going to die. There is a kid that needs a nap. There's someone that needs to eat.
I actually have to be somewhere at 5.
Yeah, same. Look, same. I definitely have to be somewhere soon. But before I finish this, I would just like to say, Bella, congratulations on being a Bella of all trades. You are doing
something about that quote, by the way.
What? The Bella
because some people are like, jack of all trades, master of none. The full quote is, a jack of all trades is master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one.
A master of one. Yeah. That's why I'm just like, please continue to do all of it. You are Latinx, immigrants, Afro-Indigenous people, like Afro-Latinx people, like the queer community, the historian, artifacts, costuming, makeup, child rearing, event planning, all of these things. And I just want to end this with, Bella, where can people find you to watch you make all of this magic? Mix 24.
My basement.
So
listen, you can find me under bellisoncle.com on my personal website. You can go ahead and also follow me at Instagram. I'm trying to get to 10K, so bellisoncle on there. Twitter, I'm Bellison84 because somebody fucked up somewhere in there, or BellisonCLE, I don't know. You can find me there. And also you can find me at thebellison.com for cosmetics. You can find me on TikTok, BellisonCLE. Also follow clevelandburlesque.com, Cleveland Burlesque on all socials, Ohio Burlesque Festival, Ohio Burlesque on all socials. We're releasing the festival information on Monday for applications and stuff like that. And then we have also, if you need to find me, you can hit me up by email, but nobody will ever give my phone number out. And if you do, you're a jerk. But you can also find me via GiGi Holliday if you need me. And if I don't answer the phone, you can call GiGi Holliday and she'll be like, sibling, are you sleeping? Hello, sibling? But she may be too busy being famous, yo, because you can also find her at Duane Park.
Which is where I have to be tonight. I have to be at Duane Park.
I'm so proud of you of that. Like, I'm so proud of you.
That's why I'm saying, like, I'm just nervous. I'm just nervous about all of it. But it's not about me. It's about you, my love. I'm going to make sure that everyone has all your information and that everyone sees your stuff. I am very thankful that you did this interview with me. You are a beacon of light. You are a pillar in this community. I just thank you so much in not only being like an amazing performer, an amazing producer, an amazing historian, costume, all that. I also want to thank you for being my friend. You know, thank you for that. To loudest.
Thank you for being a correction on that is thank you for being my sibling.
Thank
Because
you
we're
for,
family now.
yeah, thank you for being my sibling. If it wasn't for, I think for both of us, if it wasn't for you, we would not have been able to keep going all of 2020, or 2021. It was both of you and I, like, just in the trenches going, we have to get through with this. We have to do this. But that's
no choice, B.
there was no choice. There was no I love how we strong arm each other like Mama Tony strong armed us.
And we need to call Mama Tony, and I will see you at the Dirty Show, hopefully.
No, I got in 18 and 19. So
I will go see you and we'll go see Mama Tony together.
Yeah. I'm just thankful. Thank you so much for doing the show, Bella. I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, y'all follow Bella everywhere and listen to what
figuratively speaking.
Yes. But Bella is an influencer, ton of stuff on TikTok that deals with costuming, burlesque, history, cosmetics, grief, all
100 people away from 20K right now.
So let's make this happen. 100 people from 20K. I'm gonna put all that information in there and on the website. Thank you so much, Bella Sen. Say goodbye to the audience.
Adios, amigos.
Adios, amigos. Here is your auntie's tip of the week. Listen, I know this is gonna be cliche, but be a tourist in your own town. There are things that you have never seen or experienced because you feel that you've experienced it all since you live there. Go and be a tourist. You may see some cool shit.
Thanks for listening, everyone. This episode has been a production with Period Podcast Network. Find out more on Instagram at Period Podcast Network. Be sure to follow us on Instagram too at YAS, a Stripper Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at YAS, a Stripper Pod. Please like, subscribe, and rate YAS, a Stripper Podcast here on YouTube. See you next week.